So I don't know how this plays into everything, but I'm gonna document this anyway. Um, for some reason, I got the urge the other night. I freaking to watch a movie out of the movies that I've bought off of YouTube is obviously, and I didn't know which movie I was gonna pick, but I picked Mortal Kombat, the new one, and I'm watching it, trying to get my mind off of shit, right? And at the mark of 40, at the mark of 4711, 47 minutes and 11 seconds into the movie, right? What's interesting is the way that the character that plays Raiden, oh man, this is gonna get real interesting real quick. It's very interesting that the character that plays Raiden in that movie, right, turns around and is talking to the fighters, and he mentions Shang Tsung, Shang Tsung. But the way that he says it, and you can check this out for yourself, the way that he says it like Shinzo. And I'm saying to myself, no, he didn't just say that, right? He didn't just say the name Shinzo, right? Like Shinzo Abe, the guy that was just assassinated over in Japan. So I rewinded it and I tried clipping it. Couldn't do that. Tried looking for that specific part of the movie so that I could clip it. Could not do that. So I just had to listen to the 10 seconds or so playback. I could probably do something about that. But just to hear it over and over to see how close he's not trying to say Shang Tsung. He's trying to say Shinzo while making it sound like Shang Tsung, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, just what a weird fucking coincidence that Shinzo Abe, right, was standing over here again 2 months ago, right, having a conversation with me, the boy who taught the federal government how to make uranium, amongst other things. And then 2 months later, Shinzo Abe is now been assassinated over in Japan. But what made me even fucking watch that movie? I was so tired, and I was just like, keep watching the movie. I mean, just watch this. Just try to get your mind off of shit. And the minute it got to that 47:11 seconds where he's talking to the fighters about this and that, and he's telling them this is happening, and when he mentions Shang Tsung's name, it sounds like he's saying Shinzo. Now I said to myself, what the fuck? I said, let me go back and check something out, right? Now, Shinzo, right? He starts his basically like his political career, supposedly through, Google, this says, in about 93. Now, it was about 92 when the contracts for MK Ultra was signed. And then it was 93 where the whole freaking, 92, the video game dropped, right? And, or 92. 92, the video game dropped. I can check that out again. Then, there's a movie in production, right? Now, the thing I know about that movie is that the movie that was made just now, like a year ago, this is 2022. The movie that was made about a year ago in 2021, the movie that dropped, that movie was made way back in like 93. But they canceled that movie from being the first movie to drop due to hush hush but shutting down of a whole lot of actors with inside the movie, and being granted, a little bit of time in order to do almost like an emergency version to Mortal Kombat the movie, the first one that came out around 95. I checked, that's what I went to check, is when was the release date for that first movie. And 95, and as I'm looking at it, who is the first person listed? And I'm saying, wow, that's really interesting, because the person who played Raiden in that movie was none other than Christopher Lambert. Wow. And I'm saying to myself, wow, God damn it, Now, 2019, okay? 2019 is when I was just about to leave to go visit my mom, right? Little do I realize my friend Lisa Allen, she just passed away. Little do I know that. Won't find that about 2.5 years later. Only a few months back did I find that out. But what's interesting is that around about that same exact time, a guy by the name of Christopher Lambert starts a podcast about Kristen Smart and Paul Flores. Now, all of a sudden, after 25 fucking years of my life, right, dealing with this bullshit, Paul Flores is about to go to court as of today, the 18th of July, 2022. Now, I find it interesting that my friend Lisa passed away just as I was leaving New York, basically, to go down to my mom's in Florida. And I find it really interesting that as my mother passed away, little did I realize it. I mean, I seen the TV, and I'm saying, but yet, Gerald Schur, the head of witness protection, passes away on the 25th, I think, of August. My mom passed away on the 12th of September. Now, I just find it really interesting that Christopher Lambert was the name of the dude who they are trying to claim sparked all this interest in the Kristen Smart murder case. And, he's the reason that Paul Flores was arrested. And then I think to myself about the MK Ultra contracts and the year of 1992 leading into 1993. And I'm saying to myself, wow, that's really freaking interesting, man. That, all of a sudden this movie that came out in 2021, the Mortal Kombat movie that came out in 2021, was the movie that was meant to drop all those years back. But instead, other actors got casted, and Raiden was played by an actor called Christopher Lambert. Now, fast forward to where we are at today in 2022, and I'm looking at this movie. Something was just telling me, watch a movie. Didn't know which movie, but then I picked Mortal Kombat, and 47 minutes and 11 seconds in, there's the actor, whoever's playing Raiden now, and he's mentioning Shang Tsung's name. But when you listen to it, It's coming out. Shinzo. Shinzo. Wow. And 2 months ago, Shinzo Abe stood right there and had a conversation with me. Now, 2 months later, all of a sudden, he's assassinated. Wow. And I am the real MK Ultra. All this bullshit on the fucking news. Wow. Wow. Okay? That's wow. And, I mean, wow. Just freaking wow. It's funny that the line in the movie, why he's talking about Shang Tsung, or as I know it, Shang Tsung, right? Because of the game and the. But it's funny how like it comes out Shinzo, and he's saying a line basically. He's like, or else Shinzo will take over the entire world forever, or some shit. Go watch the freaking movie at 47 minutes in and 11 seconds. When he's talking to the fighters for basically the first time in the new movie that came out in 2021, he's saying the name Shinzo. And when you look at the actor that plays Shang Tsung, I don't even know how he makes it sound like Shinzo. But you know what? When you look at the actor's face and you compare it a little bit to Shinzo, the man who was just assassinated, the Japanese prime minister that was just assassinated, meaning the face of Shang Tsung, right, in the movie, and you compare it, there's a lot of very much similarities going there. So I find it all very interesting. And, then there's the other knowledge that I have, that throughout the course of Mortal Kombat, not every commercial, it was always the rare commercials. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that the kids would talk about. Like, it's coming out. It's like, yo, did you see that new commercial? You know what I'm saying? They didn't play those all the time, but they were clips of this movie that came out in 2021. Throughout the years from 93 onward. So I find it really interesting with the whole. Oh, and by the way, let's not forget about the COVID variant Ninja. Oh my God. This is a fucking horror movie. What the fuck, man? Wow. Fucking wow. Wow, I'm trying to think of anything else that's. I just find it really interesting about how the actor that played Raiden back then was named Christopher Lambert, to replace the movie that was going to be made, which is the movie that came out in 2021. And I find it funny that Chris Lambert is the one who started the podcast that kicked off the bullshit of Kristen Smart's death again 25 years later, which this thing should have been fucking solved a year and a half. Wow, man. It's such this wow. Just, you know what? Fucking wow. That's all I gotta say is just fucking wow. I mean, coincidence? You know what? After all the coincidences I've just lined the fuck up, it's like, you know what, man? It's wow, man. Wow, man. Wow, man. Wow, man. Freaking wow, man.